What sets us apart from other labels? Well, for a start, we don't seem to be able to shift many records.
So what are the key elements of a Blang artist? Slightly unhinged, perhaps. I would say that area between insanity and genius.
We never made money.
So I'd started putting on nights at the 12 Bar Club in Denmark Street in central London. A lot of things happened at the same time. I started putting on nights. I discovered the New York anti-folk scene. The internet started, so I could converse with all these people, and these people were emailing me and asking me for gigs in London. And the 12 Bar Club, which was in central London, which meant it was easy for anyone to get to from anywhere in London, and was run by great people who were like into music. And those things all coalesced to make this great club happen, this great night. And I'd seen Latch play at the 12 Bar Club. Shortly after that, Jeffrey Lewis played at the Enterprise at Chalk Farm. Went to see that, and he was like amazing. So I suddenly started getting into this scene of people, and soon after that, I started putting up my nights. And then loads of people from New York were getting in touch with me saying, oh, can we come down and play? So it's people like Doofus, Pre-War Yard Sale, Diane Club, Major Matt Mason, Randy Russo, Thomas Truax, all came down in those first couple of years, 2002, 2003, 2004. And then people in the UK who were kind of into outsider songwriting started to come down and started to send me things. Johnny Brown from Band of Other Joy said to me, well, Joe, why don't you start a label called Blang? I didn't really have a good answer, why not? The word Blang came from a Latch album, which was also a guitar chord of his.
That's Blang.
But it was also the name of a painting by Roy Lichtenstein, so it had kind of pop art connotations, which I quite liked as well. And we started off with Fruit Machine, which was a 26-track compilation of various people who played at the nights at the 12 Bar Club.
JJ Crash, that was me. I was thrilled to be on this, and when it came out, I bought a couple of boxes off of Joe, went over to see him at work, and we had a chat. He was really glad that I bought some boxes because he'd funded it all out of his own pocket. And that was when I got started thinking, hang on a minute, this guy, he's got this amazing live night on at the 12 Bar Club. He's got this really cool band, Sergeant Buzzfuzz. He's set up a record label. He's put out this compilation album. Is there no end to this guy's abilities? And that was when I thought I really want to ask him if I can help him out with his with what he's doing.
Well, Blang's like a classic old school indie label. You're done for the love of the music, not for the commercial value. They look after you well. Great songwriting. They focus on the great songwriting, and it's very British.
Jack Daniels in the bathtub, making a pact with Beelzebub. Yeah, rock and roll points. Yeah, rock and roll points. Banned from the Vic bar, getting out my dick. Rock and roll points. Getting off with every woman I can, for taking a pill and getting buggered by a man. Yeah, rock and roll points. Yeah, rock and roll points. To cut a long story, hey, I was horny. Rock and roll points.
Yeah, that's right. Grab your cowboy hats and your Stetson boots, and do your hoops. It goes 1 up, 2 down, everybody go.
Basically, I'm a super fan, and my mate Jules got involved with Joe because he basically said to Joe, look, there's all these fantastic bands who don't have a label, how about I put some money in and we expand your label to accommodate it? And I was deeply envious. Then Milk Can came along, who basically fallen out with PS, and they say they sign up, but they wanted a decent recording and publicity budget, which was a chunk of dough. And Jules said to me, how about contributing 50% of that chunk of dough, and we'll give you, and then we'll let you have a small part of Blang. So I was in.
Right. Oh, cash your checks, big pegs, no sex, shit, I'm next, can't skate, date, wait, walk straight, work late, triple dare, cut your hair, damn, I don't wanna share, play the blues, dole cues, win or lose, you gotta choose, push your pram, slow jams, beer cans, split no hands, repeats, no treats, keep your kids off the streets, lean cuisine, dirty dream, keep your filthy nose clean, apple pie, don't lie, boys ain't supposed to cry, so pull out another bullseye, and keep chewing on your humble pie, 'cause I ain't even hungry. That's right. Like that. Yeah. And that's when the devil, well, he pulled me near, and God put the iPod in my ear. I saw God with an iPod, and the devil was listening to a song, and then next to the headphones, just kicking it like kung fu. Okay, I saw God with an iPod, damn, and the devil was listening to. I pulled myself up a little closer so I could hear what was coming through. Okay, I heard the Clash, Grandmaster Flash, and Johnny Cash. Without them was like Burt Reynolds without a moustache.
So what is anti-folk? Well, I know what anti-folk is in New York. Anti-folk in New York is the Sidewalk Cafe, and it's not being able to play over in the folk clubs in the West Village and setting up their own venue to go and play, and all the people that have passed through that scene, if you want to call it that.
And what the anti-folkers had in common, the New York people had in common, that there wasn't a particular sound from the New York anti-folk people, but what they had in common was a certain spirit, a certain edge. Most of them were lyrically pretty interesting. What they had in common was that none of them would ever have been on a major label, obviously apart from Beck, but he was before then. What they had in common was that they wouldn't have been on a major label. They were just too... None of them quite fitted into those boxes. And in a similar way that the UK lot who came on, none of them would really have been on a major label. Because we all didn't fit into a box really either.
Never wanna see me again.
Well, the UK anti-folk scene is definitely got a different flavour to the American scene, but obviously similar influences.
Anti-folk, in a broader sense, is outside of music. It's people who don't fit into anything, people who don't fit into a genre.
The UK scene was very, very hedonistic in comparison, which I guess could be a reflection of British culture, but it was an incredibly hedonistic scene.
I don't have anyone to answer to. I don't feel any responsibility.
As far as I can gather, I think the theme to Blang artists is that they're all kind of storytellers. Ideally, quirky and, I guess, outsider. I think we're kind of waifs and strays. Me and Jules definitely had an idea in our minds that it would be a home for people who didn't have any other home, which I think is what anti-folk was really like. Where so Jules and I both came into Blang from an anti-folk perspective. Joe hates the anti-folk and Blang commingling. He doesn't think of Blang as an anti-folk label, albeit that almost all the artists are anti-folk. But the whole anti-folk thing is very much like the punk thing. You know, come on board, do whatever you want, and we'll support it. You know.
What I love about Blang is that all the artists sound quite different, but I think we all share a bit of weirdness, a bit of quirkiness, and in a good way.
I once described them in a press release as being like a gang of school friends, which I think they were, stuffed into a Morris Minor with a tuba sticking out the boot.
They were part of everything that was going on, supporting the television personalities, doing gigs with Milk Can, playing Blang, and every time I saw them play, there seemed to have more people in the band, which was amazing because there was always something going on. Many of them were completely wasted, but still managed to put on a good show. In the back of my mind, I always thought, how the hell do you capture that with the recording? They managed it, thanks to the masterwork of Ian Button, who put it all together and produced Richard Fever in Goal. It's a fantastic record. I love that record. It always puts me in a good mood every time I play it.
Is it the case that the minimum wage keeps all us working poor like human slaves? Cheer up, Britain, and let's raise a glass. Cheer up, Britain, and let's have a laugh. Cheer up, Britain, together tonight. Cheer up, Britain, and let's...
It's important for me to be on an independent label, to be on Blang, just because they give you the freedom to do what you want. They're there to support you and put out your music.
graveyard jam.
What does Blang mean to me? It's enthusiasm. It's this enthusiasm for music, but for music that's not the obvious music, not the obvious reference points, and giving an outlet to people who might not otherwise find a space to say things, or to say things in the way that they want to say them. And I think that's the key thing I think is about for me, is people who don't really fit in, finding ways to kind of not fit in and that be okay, you know. And I think what's exciting about what Blang released is that it's not linked necessarily by genre, it's linked by a kind of attitude and ethos, and a kind of, you know, we've got something to say and we want the world to listen.
It was your stag night, Joe, when we were staggering around Fleet Street. I was a bit confused by alcohol, and I said to Paul, I will put this amount of money up if you do your next album with Blang. And so that's when we struck the deal. And then we wasted all that money on a couple of fantastic videos which no one's ever seen.
Listen to the merriment, making jokes at your expense. The price of misery is clear. Is there a bite to let for a pint of beer? How's the eighth wonder of the world? Still turning plastic into pearls. I want to punch someone in here. I count to 10. I get as far as 5. Comics in their old school ties.
You are the one for me. You are the one for me. You haven't noticed me, but I'm your destiny. You are the one for me. I'm going to make you mine. I'm going to make you mine. Don't matter what you say, I'll get you anyway. I'm going to make you mine. Love conquers all. Pride comes before a fall. Love conquers all. Pride comes before a fall.
Do I tell you something in private I like to dance and fuck and meditate until the sun.
I think her strings broke halfway through the set, and she started wrapping the strings around her neck and pretending to hang herself.
Pieces of me. And if you like, I'll put the charms on those bras and film star arms. Maybe you're strange and strong, baby. You see you're a siren. I'll give you pieces of me. I'll give you pieces of me. I was thinking living in the past. All I want, so I
days of white lightning. They were cold, they were quite exciting. It's never seen an apple in its life, not like this other trendy site. That's right. Tony Moore.
12 Bar Club, like the Windmill in Brixton, there's certain places that have a really good vibe about them, and it's down to earth, and you can just chat to people, and it's got an atmosphere that just lends itself to you expressing yourself musically as well. The fact that the stage was just right, you were right there in front of people. You know, you were singing here and someone was there right in front of you, and that kind of lends itself to a lot of creativity on stage, and you get people from the audience just yelling things at you and talking to you and sometimes getting on stage with you.
Getting really old, and 2 or 3 bottles alone at night. It keeps you in the bolt hole of daylight.
Where were you in the days of white lightning? They were cold, they were quite exciting. He's never seen an apple in his life, not like this other trendy side and side.
Hemming in a bottle and I'm rubbing it up. To pour a cup, I wanna take a bowl and drink myself up. I pour a cup, oh yeah, I'm rubbing it in. Oh yeah, I'm rubbing it in. Hemming in a bottle and I'm rubbing it up. To pour a cup, I wanna take a.
I never saw Doofus, but I mean, I loved Seth when we worked with him on this album. I saw him at the Green Man Festival and a few times in London, and what a man, what a showman. Fantastic value.
He's electric on stage, isn't he? Doofus were like a group of people who kind of jumped out of the pages of a Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers comic. He did this thing where he wrote 100 songs in 100 days, and he sent me 32 of them, and I compiled 9 into an album, and that's the High Diver album.
I just can't keep running like this. This isn't bliss. It's like I missed the point when I rolled into the joint to cover up the pain I could never seem to tame. But this is the time when my mind isn't blind and I'm finding up a kind of man.
My mate Matthew represented Brits when she's written a book, which I think the book did well, and he was having a book launch. And she blew me away. She did a little set with the Extricated, which was the backing band, which I think was their second ever gig, because I think they'd done a launch in Manchester first. And then afterwards there was a kind of intimate soiree type thing. And Matthew introduced me and I was a little bit pissed. And I said, are you going to release any of this stuff? And yeah, then we chatted on from there, and I made Joe's day and Jules' day when I said, yeah, you'll never guess who I've met.
I'll say, can I get you a drink? What you having? And she'll say, can I have a Coke? And I'll say, don't you want a vodka and Coke? She'll say, Tom, whatever you want.
it'll probably cost £5. But that's okay, I've got money. And she'll look at my Batman t-shirt and say, I like a t-shirt. And I'll say, hey honey, you should see my pants.
So yeah, Jack Medley, Sidewalk Cafe, 2004. Jack Medley just fell on me, not my drink.
What's it called? No, prove it. Prove it. I'll show you how to. What? Prove it. Oh no. I don't know how yet. Just started. Just start. What? It's gonna take 40 minutes. Told Dom it wouldn't take long. Trapped, you getting bastard. Spent my last 3 nights getting blasted. Feel shit, feel lost. You know what? I like to lose it. What? You know what? I like to lose it. 1, 2, 3. You know what I like to do, innit? Fuck that. Sorry, I was just like to play there. Not really that. You heard me right there, Pete. Hands in the air. One more spin.
3 ride tokens where I live. You know what I'm talking about, bitches. It's all about ghost trains. Do what you want. Don't know, hell, skelter, roller coaster. Where's that fucking stupid thing at the end of the pier? Fuck off. Do what you want. I need fucking tokens.
Lose it.
If you're that fucking bored, I've got fucking guests in the SeaWorld Centre. Go and waste your time.
Keep it real, people. Keep it real.
Nat the Hammer. Nothing to do with supporting West Ham, which I think Joe from BuzzFuzz thought it might be and didn't want to book me for that reason.
Through the wonderful generosity of people who own Blang, really.
It's always been difficult trying to juggle running a label with having a job or a part-time job like me. The amount of hours you have to put in, that's always been a struggle.
Looking down on all of this, now I'm up.
We tried to work with some established artists, and so kind of in hindsight it didn't really feel very Blang. We learned a lot, we met some really good people, we worked bloody hard, and I think we've improved our profile through that. But yeah, that was kind of a difficult period, but in a way you learn from that because we now know where we're coming from and what we want to do, so you know, it's all been fun really.
We've worked with occasional people with ego problems, and it never lasts long. You know, it's we don't get paid for what we do. We've never earned a penny from what we do. So if you come to us with an ego problem, it's not going to last long. We're going to say goodbye to it pretty soon, which we have done with various people. But the vast majority of people who are on the label are brilliant people who, you know, they take their music seriously, but not themselves seriously, and that's part of what Blang's about.
Number of gigs I went to that were launch gigs, and the band would come off the stage and it's like, Tom, could have mentioned there was a record out. Could have mentioned there was a record out. Might have helped. It's supposed to be promoting the record. Might have helped. And that was my, you know, it's so fucking fervently anti-commercial that how were we ever going to make any money? We were never going to make any money.
Why are we still doing it after 15 and a half years? Well, on a personal level, as long as I'm still writing, recording stuff, I want a label to put my own stuff out on. In addition to that, there's that thrill of finding new stuff, new acts, and putting great music out there to a wider audience. We're having fun doing it. I think with the addition of our new members, Lara and Beth, over the last year or so, that's given us more energy. We're heading in the right direction still, and we all get on. We've all got a similar attitude to music.
She said, baby told me she loved me. Pretty sure that's what she said. Yeah, my baby told me she loved me. Then she went and shot me dead. Why did you do this? Why did you do this thing to me? Why did you do this? Why did you do this thing to me?
I really wanted to put it out on the 1st of January as a big fuck you to Brexit, but of course it all got delayed. Normally we only sign acts who we've seen live because you see an extra dimension about an act when you see them live. But that tradition went out of the window in lockdown. We were recommended Pink Eye Club, who we'd never seen. We watched some videos of him playing pubs in South London. He's on the Blang wavelength, and he's got this very admirable quality of really not giving a shit if people laugh at him. I don't think he's reached his musical potential yet. That might take a few albums to get there, but he's on his way there, and I think we're a good label for him. He's got it.
Disco is my religion. You'll find me in my bedroom, listening to the Paradise Garage hits every day of the week.
Vegetarian sausage in gravy with mashed potato, carrots and swede. Chicken breast, meat, potatoes, sprouts, cauliflower, peas, stuffing and gravy. Cauliflower and broccoli baked with diced fried potatoes and carrots. Vegetarian cottage pie with carrots, swede and peas. Mediterranean chicken with herby fried diced potatoes.
He stands at his lectern, he has no reflection. The cameras wince at his maths. His leer is his trademark, he smiles like a car park. He's telling you this, taking that. He writes.
We work with people who've really got something to say, which gives them an edge. That's part of what Blang is about, giving a platform for people who've got something to say, something proper.
This was the first time that I'd been around a music scene that I kind of felt part of, that my mates were part of, probably 20 years. And then this was like, wow, we can do this, we can have all this fun, all these new people, all these new bands, all this new music, fantastic. How can I help? How can I help?
We've worked with some really, really talented people, and hopefully we've helped them along their way. Well, we've certainly enjoyed it anyway, releasing some great records, absolutely fantastic records.
There are advantages of not relying on a label for your income. We haven't got an office, we've never earned anything, so we don't have those overheads of wages and rent and stuff, so we can survive. I really hope that the major labels fold in the next financial crash. If they just folded, that would be just great. If there was just smaller labels like us, because we can survive, you know.
Division and loyalty ends with her squad. Her meat stinks and shivers. Her Judas delivers another fresh morsel to prod. You need a personality, miss, to go with that disorder, yeah. Hey, hey, down with the creeps, hey, hey.
Right, secure men, right, don't know what I'm quite doing here. Just relaxing. What day is it? It's Friday, it's Friday, isn't it? So, a very stressful week this week.
Pretty early on we released a string of 7-inch singles. There was Rock and Roll Points by Filthy Pedro. Dave Cumber's Wife had 2 7-inch singles I couldn't get off. My Best Friend's Going Out was a girl I like. Sexy Dentist by Malcolm Caxoris. Killer Kane by Dexter Bentley. 5 classic singles we put out.
Oh yes, fantastic cover. Filthy Pedro, Rock and Roll Points. So that was the first single that wasn't illegal.
We knew how to find people and make things, but we didn't know about marketing. But we got off to a great start with that string of singles.
We had a contract with Milk Can. We did have a contract with DCW. It wasn't intended to be quite as loosey-goosey as it turned out to be.
So yeah, this is the Milk Can featuring Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton, who was just like a mother to Jimmy Blade, and they had a lobster dinner in the Trump Tower.
It's not completely without contracts.
We should probably mention that this was actually supposed to be ready for the 15th birthday.
It's Blang, classic Blang style, I would say.
I couldn't get off. My Date with Jenna Bush, B-side, by David Cronenberg's wife. Jenna Bush, the daughter of George W. Bush.
I really kind of wonder why David Cronenberg's wife aren't more famous than they are.
It's an absolute mystery.
Yeah.
But, well, actually,
There is the argument that if they were any more famous, they would be cancelled.
And in that song, Tom Main does a line of cocaine with her on the marble tabletop.
We were terrible at selling them, so we've still got most of those singles.
I couldn't get off. Anyway, there's some left, they're in here.
Also really enjoyed Paul Finley's shirts. Paul Finley's shirts and Jules' t-shirts.
This is the Blang stockroom, where we keep mainly our CDs. It might look a little bit chaotic, but I know where everything is, and when the CD revival comes, I will be able to get all of our CDs to you.
Taking care of business. It's up behind. Taking care of business. I'm working on the top. Work out. Work it. Taking care of my business when I'm away. Every day. Woo! Mercy. Taking care of my business, baby. When I'm away. Every single day.